Hello and welcome. This is All for United. Merry Christmas, those of you that have taken part in that over these last few days. It's been unbelievable. I'm full of turkey. I'm full of sprouts. I'm full of, most importantly, pigs in blankets. And I'm satisfied with the food that I have eaten. So that's all been wonderful. And I trust that the three gentlemen who have joined us this evening have had a rather fantastic Christmas as well. Dan, how's yours been?
Yeah, it's been good. I've got a confession to make as well.
Oh, here we go.
I ate some of them little sour cabbages, known as Brussels sprouts, like a big boy. They're quite nice, aren't they? To be fair,
They're the best.
they're not that bad. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll try one. It don't taste the same as when I was 15. It's really weird.
As you get older, Brussels sprouts aren't that bad. It's really not a problem. Second, Dan, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Same as you, all full up from Christmas. Ate well, got all my Brussels sprouts, my big bowl on the side, just for me, because no one else eats them. Yeah, living the dream.
Yeah, I think I was the only one that ate Brussels sprouts as well in my gaff, but there we are. And Andrew, lovely to have you along as well, sir. How are you and what Manchester United themed things did you get you could whack in that bedroom this year?
New calendar for next year. So had a good Christmas despite, the stress that United caused me the other night. So, yeah, all good.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what we're going to get to, the old Boxing Day spectacular, because it was tricky. I did a little TikTok just before the game in my sister's little bar that she's done out the back. And I said it was a massive game. I said it was huge. I said there was so much that could happen. Was today going to be the day that Rasmus finally gets that goal? Is it going to be a situation where we've got Maguire in defence? What's going to happen in the midfield? What can we do? And that first half, the first 20 minutes, just was not good at all. We end up going 2-0 down. Anana with that first free kick, oh, goodness me, it was a nightmare. Then you get the second one, no marking whatsoever. And at that point, you're just thinking, well, here we go. It's going to be another one of those days. But to be fair, we rallied after that second goal, I thought. Got a little bit better and looked a little bit more like we were going to try and get that ball forward. And then in comes the second half. And what a second half that turned out to be. So the plan for tonight, very simple. We're going to spend about 20 minutes or so just running through our thoughts for the Villa game. And then Mr. Dan here will switch over the sides and he will be running our sort of festive Christmas quiz, which Andrew, Dan and I have been roped into here. So this could either be the future of this channel or it could be the end of this channel, depending on how well we do. Our reputations could lay in shreds and tatters shortly after this. And of course, yes, we are fully aware we've got the takeover detail as well. We're going to park that till Saturday. It's not ratified yet. It's going to take some time. So plenty of time to have that conversation. So on Saturday, in our last show of 2023, we will be having a little chat, obviously, about the Forest game. We'll talk about the takeover and probably do some little end of season or end of year awards as well. So that's kind of what we've got coming up. But for now, I mean, we'll kick off with you, Andrew. Season ticket holder, I'm going to assume you were there. Tell me, I'm not just assume you were there. I know you were there because you sent all the stuff we end up putting on the Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. But how was that for you? Because it was pretty terrifying for me.
I said, at the end of the game when we had one, I said to my friend Umesh, who sat in front of me, I just said, this club will be the death of me. You just putting you through every emotion you can think of. And I say, before the game, we knew it was going to be a tough fixture. Villa were side in form and we've been playing poorly. Then so it proved that first half. And, when we as we get into half time, I thought, well, this is going to be another dismal night at Old Trafford and, going down 2-0. So, but yeah, it's just the way we started the game. I'd say we were having, I think we had the real first shot on target. I think Ericsson did. But then we just seemed to, our attacks seemed to fizzle out and then Villa came more into the game. And I was thinking that first goal that they scored from McGinn's free kick, it was like, looking at it, I was like, what? I thought you've set this up in training. You've already practiced this, because I thought the way some of the players, one of the players was on the goalkeeper. I thought, isn't that supposed to be offside? Or like, so when the goal went in, players were complaining. We were looking and going, this doesn't look right, but for some reason the didn't intervene, and then did the goal stood. But what more concerned me was the second goal we conceded. It was just how was Long layer, allowed to just run, be left unmarked to head the ball across, and then for Dendonker to hit the ball into the back of the net. It was just like inept defending. I thought we're not even doing the basics right, and I just thought this is either going to end really, really, really badly for us, or we're going to start to play. And I think probably in the last 10 minutes or so, we started to get a little bit better at the first half, but rightly so. When the players were coming off at half time, they were getting booed. But second half, literally just on the front foot from the get-go, and literally Rashford launching the counter-attack, and we thought Garnacho should have scored, but just a couple of paces offside. But then he didn't have to wait too long for his actual goal to come and say it was a great attacking move as well. And then obviously the second one as well, we just like the momentum had shifted in our favour, even though Villa had a couple of times after we'd scored. Onana made a great save, and then Johnny Evans, I thought if you hadn't been there, we'd have been 3-2 down. But and then the corner that came in for the third goal, I was like, just saw it go in. I was like, I just saw the number 11 run into the strap, and I thought, that's Højlund. And I'm like, finally, he's done it. So I was trying to work. My friend who messaged in front, he initially thought it was McTominay, but then said, no, number 11, and it's Højlund that scored. But so happy for him. It was just like, for most of the game, he didn't have much from his teammates, but look, he persevered, he tried, and look, as I say, he came away with the goal. So, yeah, it was just like half time. I literally had an actual headache from United, and by the end of the game, I was like, just relieved. So, it was good to sign out of Old Trafford for the year with a win. So, just at least we ended it on a good note, and hopefully Saturday, take that form from the win against the Villa into the Forest game as well.
I mean, an exhilarated end for sure, Days, but he thought we played well in the first half, just didn't defend. Danny B, we'll go to you on this one. What did you make of that game as a whole? We'll talk about the first half on the next round and the second half on the next round, but just as a whole, I mean, that's what Boxing Day football is all about, isn't it? Because it was an incredibly entertaining game for the neutral.
Yeah, anyone that paid to go or watch it on TV got the value for money, didn't they? But for me, I just thought the game as a whole, like Andrew said, there was just basic mistakes being made, and we seemed to make them every game. But the one thing I took from it was that even though you could see in the first half, Rashford was making runs, and I've been one of Rashford's biggest critics, but he was making the runs, but no one was quite knowing how to find him. And then, but he kept making them, and he kept making them. And eventually we got wise to it, and we picked the ball up a couple of times in the first half, like high up the pitch. And for me, that was like the catalyst for the rest of the game from there. There was a couple of times where Rashford had a couple of shots straight at the goalkeeper, and it was like, right. And then it was like they'd all click there, right? We win the ball high up, we push, we press, and then it all kind of stemmed from there. And like you say, come out second half, and it was like two totally different teams from the one that played at West Ham to the one against Villa. Totally different.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was. Dan Field, for you, obviously, how do you feel that game? But how did it make you feel more than anything? Because I went from being quite annoyed at halftime to overjoyed and more pleased than anything, really, for Rasmus. What did that game mean for you?
Exactly the same. At halftime, I wanted everybody sacked. I was done with the team. Literally like every week, to be fair. And then come full time, I was much happier. I just wanted to point to where I think it changed, because it seems to have been not missed, but not many people seem to have said it. And I don't know whether I've just imagined it or whether it actually happened. But whilst we was trying to control the game, we played like crap, and we was awful, and we conceded 2 in defence. And once we shed this, we need to keep the ball, we need to control the opponent, blah, 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 and literally just won the ball back and attacked. Win the ball high, get forward quickly. We were suddenly making chance after chance after chance. And I hate to keep going back to it, but that is what Solskjaer did. And every time Ten Hag lets the reins go and stops with this. We need to control the ball. We need to do this. I think we had 46% possession come the end of the game, and we won 3-2. And it just seems to be every time we try and control games, we struggle a little bit because we haven't got the players to do it at the moment. Whereas when he just lets them off the leash and says, you know what, win the ball back, attack quickly, break with pace, break with power, don't overplay, 1 or 2 passes quickly, we seem to be right at it because it benefits Rashford, it benefits Garnacho. Højlund, when Højlund scored, it's the first time I've shouted at football in about 3 weeks. I was absolutely mental when he went in because what a finish. Alan McCoy said he shinned it. It was not a shin. It was perfectly on the foot. It was absolutely sensational. And just his performance deserved it. And again, for the last 2 games, even against, I think it was West Ham, the players were trying to find him. And he was doing better runs this time. There was another ball in the game against I think it was Villa. I think it was against Villa. The ball, there's a ball in the box again, and no one's there. And I was fuming because Rashford should have been out. Someone should have been there to tap back post, and nobody was there. So I'm just hoping the cohesion comes and we get better. But he's got to start playing with just pure speed on the counter. I'm not necessarily saying counter-attacking football, but win the ball back and go quickly. Stop trying to pass back, find shapes, find pockets, find whatever. Obviously, if he wants to play that way, I get it. But let's wait until he's got his players that can play that way. Let's just get... Eriksen, for me, was one of the best players on the pitch. It's fantastic, covered well. His ability to pick a pass was fantastic as well. We just need to get back to that for me. I don't care if we get 40% possession. That is what these lads are really, really good at. And it's what's going to get the best out of them. For me, is quick breaks and not overplaying the ball. I just think once we moved away from that against Villa, that's where we got back into it because the chances started to flow. I give him credit. I give Villa credit for the way he was playing the offside line. Not many teams are that brave and it works that well. Liverpool did it quite a lot. In the end, it was probably the downfall. They probably should have stopped doing it when they kept, after the first goal, maybe the second goal, you change your tactic. They kept doing it. It backfired in the end. But I just thought, I didn't think Villa was that good. I don't know what anybody else thought. They got the lucky, I won't say lucky, but poor defending from our point of view. They got the 2 goals. They didn't really do much else. I can't remember Watkins doing a huge amount. I know, obviously, the Johnny Evans block was fantastic. But they just didn't really... They looked a bit tired, Villa. I thought they didn't look really at it.
I mean, they didn't look an Emery side. That's for sure. Unai Emery has done incredibly well against Manchester United over the last few years. He's been a bit of a bogey manager for us, really. But
never won at Old Trafford, though.
But very interesting to see how that team turned out against us. But Andrew, we'll look at the first half now. I mean... I'm just not going to say anything about Onana because people are just going to think I've got the same problem with just all Man United goalkeepers at the moment.
Do you want me to say it, Barry?
You can say what you like when you get around there.
It was absolutely crap.
But the free kick comes in. I mean, it was annoying as it was, but the free kick just comes bending around and he doesn't move. He just stands still. And then when the ball finally gets to where he's supposed to be, he doesn't dive. He just sits down. And the ball just goes in. And we're like, okay. So he didn't command his area there. He didn't command his area for the second goal either because as the cross comes in, nobody there, header comes across. And then Dendoncker, who hasn't played for about 8 months or hasn't started for about 8 months, just smashes the ball home. And at this point, surely we must have been thinking, I don't know what you were thinking, that at that point I was really depressed. But the good thing was that we did start to react. And our big problem was just, are we going to actually get a moment where we're on the side and we can actually take one of these chances? Because every time we were getting forward, which we were doing reasonably well, actually, they just were offside every single time. And I remember tweeting about it. I'm like, how can you be paid this much money and not understand how to beat the offside trap? Like, you're always going to get caught occasionally. But some of these were miles off. There was one, I think it was in the second half, and the ball comes, and I think it could have been Højlund, but he was stood there blatantly in front, next to the person, and there's another defender in front of him, and actually you could see he was offside, and he still stands there. He doesn't try and get back. There was a moment where Rashford made a good run. He wanted the ball, and as he gets forward, it doesn't get given to him. So actually, he threw a strop rather than getting himself back on side again to go again. And then he did go back on side, but it was like the strop was the more important thing rather than actually putting the effort into making the movement. Now, I saw that on the telly. What did you see for that first half? Because for me, we saw, I wouldn't say the best and the worst of Man United in that one half, but we saw how promising we can be, but also how bloody terrible we can be.
It was a tale of two halves. That first half, I was just like, I just remember I seen I think it was a Patrice Evra's where he was being upon it on Amazon. He said, well, if we play the same way and we're more focused on set pieces, second half, he said, I wouldn't be surprised if we win 3-2. I was like, at the end of the game, I thought, Patrice Evra, do you know the lottery numbers? Because that first half, so we had early on the most decent chances, but then we just let Villa grow into the game, and I'm just like, and they just took, our inept defending to another level. I'm just thinking on that first, the free kick, it was just like, I could see one of their players on our goalkeeper. Well, actually, he was right behind our goalkeeper, actually in the net, and I was like, why are you doing that? And I was like, you've cooked something up in training to catch us out, and literally, he did catch us all out. Even the ball coming across, and nobody tried to head it away. And I was like, I don't know, he's got caught in two minds. Like, do I go for this or do I? And then he just left standing there, like, the ball's gone past me now. So, and the second one was just like, as I said, long way just to be left unmarked. It was like, I just think you got to question all the defense there. Who was supposed to be marking the man there? So, and then to get it fired across the box, and then for Dendok, it wasn't even like, I think just like sort of backheeled it in. So I was like, how have you just done that? And literally all the defense was just like behind all the Villa players. I'm like, having no one tried to get a block in there, and I'm just like, and then afterwards, we're starting to, slightly improve, but it was just not clicking for us. And I'm just thinking, I said, I could see like Rashford making runs as well, and he wasn't being picked out. And I've seen that so many times in other games as well. I'm just like, he's made the run. You just got to put a ball over the top or a pass through, and he'll be away. I'm just like, if I can see it in the crowd, why can't the players see it that Rashford's making a run here? And just, I think at one point in the second half, they did spot Rashford making the run, and they literally put it onto him. So, yeah, by that first half, I was like, I've got a headache, and I'm just like seething, and was just getting a bit more and more angrier. And then second half, I thought I haven't swore as much at the game or getting more irate, even like in like example the second half when Villa players were like fouling us, and I'm literally every time just getting up and telling the referee book him. So, but yeah, from that game as well, I just think what it did show, Rashford on the left and Garnacho on the right, I think that could be the combination that works now. So just got to give them all the run of games, and then see what they can do. So I think Rashford's best coming off the left, and Garnacho was just brilliant the other night. So let's see what they can both do with Haaland through the middle.
It feels absolutely fair enough. Danny B, well, lots of people here saying similar sort of things. Dave saying he disagreed with Rashford's strop. No need for it. They're all trying to win the match, not just him, which was true. NT mentioning that Villa weren't great. They play good offside trap, play high up, but a lot of teams defend better in their third and don't have as much space in behind. Dave also saying, is that the third or fourth time this season we come back from being 2-0 down? Second or third, I would have thought. I don't think we've done it that many times, but we have done it a couple, that's for sure. Matthew says, I don't think we played bad first half, just mistakes from you-know-who again, unfortunately. But yes, chances needed to be taken, which luckily we did in the second half. And again, that's absolutely true. It's absolutely fair. I mean, Danny, I'm going to try something here. This is brand new. We've never done this before here on the show, but we'll give it a crack and sort of see how it looks. Let's see. Can you see it? There you go. Look at that. Look at this. We've got a tactics board game. Look at us play. As you can see here, you had the teams pretty much set out to negate each other. They were exactly the same. We both had sort of like a 4-2-1-3 effectively being played. But what was interesting was how these four here, you know, they did manage to work together quite well in the end. It was this bit at the end that I think was the hardest part. The fact that you basically got 4 against 6 on both ends each time. I think what was really interesting for me, Danny B, was seeing that actually, despite the fact they were set up well, it's set pieces that let us down in that first half. It wasn't the open play that was an issue. It was the set pieces. And as a result of that, we conceded again. Why have we been so poor from set pieces? And what did you make of that first half?
I think as far as the set pieces go, for me, it's been a problem for a long time. It's not just a recent thing. Like for years and years, like me and my dad, whenever we watch a game together, we always make jokes about, we always look like we're going to concede, and then we never look like we'll score off one. I know we scored off one against Villa, but like, just who's our set piece coach, and who, you know, he needs sacked, whoever he is, in terms of just basic things like Longley, who got the free header. He had the freedom of Old Trafford to nod that down. He could have took it down on his chest and passed it if he wanted to, and just little things like that. Where, like, you know, generally the first half for me, I thought it was the patterns of play and stuff. You could see what we were trying to do, and just on what Dan said earlier, it felt a bit like an Ollie game where we were winning the ball high up the pitch. We were doing the Ollie kinds of things, and they were the bits that were good. And the Rashford one about the strop as well. I mean, he was making run after run after run, and no one was finding him. So I could kind of see why he was getting frustrated. And normally I would be on his case about that, but he did keep making them runs. He didn't stop doing it. So for me, if he's stropping, I don't necessarily mind, as long as it's not affecting his performance, which I don't think it did the other night. But I just think in terms of the first half, if we could defend from set pieces, then we obviously would have went in level, but we also might not have dropped our heads after the first goal went in. We could have been in the lead at half time. It was just, there was so much in that first half. I was very frustrated, as people who follow me on social media would have noticed. But it was just it was the final ball as well. We'd get in behind Garnacho and Rashford, would get in both sides, and either they would shoot when they should have crossed, or they'll cross when they should have shoot. And it was just bad decision making all round.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much spot on with that one. Dan, I did a poll on on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it now, Elon Musk Playground, whatever we have to refer to it as. But the first goal confused me, because I could see that, you know, as the free kick was being taken, Villa had a player who was blatantly offside. And the ref goes up to him and talks to him and then walks away. Now, I know he runs away from him. I know there's all of that. So he's not really interfering in that respect, but he's there. He's definitely in the way. And it made you wonder. I mean, to be fair, for the poll, the people that voted in it voted overwhelmingly to say it wasn't offside. But why did the ref go over there? That was the bit I was confused about. You know, if it's not going to be offside, why is the ref gone to speak to him?
So I was disappointed with Onana, and I don't understand. Me personally, as a goalkeeper, I don't play goalkeeper, but this is what I would have done. I would have got myself in front of the player, and I would have just leant into him and backed into him, because as soon as the ball's kicked, he's touching you, and it's got to be offside. So if someone's going to come and stand near you like that, get yourself in and around him. So even if he tries to run away, he's nudging you or touching you or in your vicinity. Because if you do that, there's a decision to be made. In essence, there was no excuse for it in the end, because he just ran away. He did absolutely nothing. I thought at first that Watkins might have been offside, and he was looking to see whether he touched it. And then I was confused, because we had the offside against Fulham where Maguire doesn't touch the ball, but they said he might touch the ball. But then I watched it back, and Watkins is about 5 yards onside. So I have no idea what they was even looking at in terms of the decision. I thought it was pretty straightforward. Ball came in, Goalkeeper was static. Defense was static. It went in. I set piece coaches. I believe it's Eric Ramsey. He came in 2021. Ever since he came in 2021, our set piece record has dropped off an absolute cliff. If I was in charge at Manchester United, I'd be asking questions. It might be just a case of the teams that we're playing against defend better than we do in training. So it works well in training, but it doesn't work well against better players. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand all the fuss about it. I thought it was pretty much clear goal. I was more disappointed, A, with Onana coming out. He should have come and tried and done something. And B, if he would have just had the thought to just grab hold of his man, get into a tussle, it'd have been offside because he's then touching the goalkeeper. I think it happened to us against Forest. Hoyland scored and he was given offside. Well, he didn't score. Someone else scored and Hoyland was given offside because he was stood near the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper was pushing him. He was just stood there and the goalkeeper was pushing him and they give it offside. So I thought he should have been a little bit more intelligent. That's where my brain would have gone anyway. I would have sort of made the point of touching or grabbing Bailey to make it so he's active, he's interfering with play. In terms of the football and the setup, I still don't like the single pivot. We seem to be playing with the single pivot. I think Eriksen gives us more in midfield because he's able to link it better. I hope he moves away from it. But, I mean, we've got Forest next. And we all saw how they played against Newcastle, which was quickly on the break with speed. And if we play the way we played against Villa, I think we'll come in for some trouble against Forest because they'll keep going at that. They'll let us control the game, get high up the pitch and then let us on the break. So I think he needs to move to a double pivot to be able to break quicker.
No, but to be fair, I think he did kind of have that. Did he not? I thought
it's too open. So Kobe Mainoo was excellent, and Eriksen's much better in that role at keeping more of a double pivot, but it's not a full double pivot. They were still. I thought there was times where Villa could have got in and they played the wrong ball because we was caught in midfield. It's like we're caught between pressing and dropping off a little bit, and it does keep happening. And I think, to be honest, it's just the fact that the rotation's quite heavy. We don't seem to be able to get a starting defence and a starting midfield at the minute.
No, I mean, maybe not. So, listen, let's go to the second half, shall we? Because we don't have time to do the full hour that we would normally do talking about it due to the fact that Dan's got another little quiz lined up. But we do have to talk about just the joys that second half brought. Because, again, I thought we were much better, just still struggling to get on the side. Garnacho actually scored a goal, which was offside, before we finally managed to get ourselves back into it. But I did think at that point, the second half, we were outstanding. That was the Manchester United that I'm used to seeing, the Manchester United that I love watching, the Manchester United that just attacked and worked hard. And you could see they were working for each other. And we've questioned these players, Andrew. We've questioned them a lot. This may not be the turning point for the season because we've seen these sort of performances happen during the season already. And then we just go on and completely squander it. But I don't want to say this feels different, but that did feel good to see them perform against a side doing as well as they've been doing in the league this season against a manager who has traditionally been a very difficult manager to beat. To then turn around and see Garnacho and Hoyland, two of our players that we really do rate for the future, getting those goals.
Yeah, it was like, even when we went 2-0 down, we still looked threatening. In that last 10 minutes, we were starting to build something. So we could have easily capitulated, but we didn't. So I think we just benefit having our best players in the right positions. Even like Fernandes in the cam role. So it's like that's where you're best at being. So obviously getting the actual first goal back was like it got us all up on our feet, and so it seems like the game's starting to turn in our favour. And once we got that first goal, we pressed a little bit more aggressively. So we pushed the Villa full-backs further back, and into more tight spaces, while we cut off the ball off McGinn and Ramsey, who had like the freedom of the first half. So maybe it was Ten Hag's change, to go a bit more aggressive, and obviously the first goal changed that. But even like Johnny Evans, he got more closer to John McGinn as well. He just started, putting tackles in at him rather than just tracking him. So just cutting off the passes to them. So let's say the first goal was like, I thought when he actually scored, I thought, thank God he's not offside this time. I thought that's because Villa play a very high line, and that was, we was getting caught out a good few times. I think they did that the same last time to us. When we played him, it's like we'll play that really high line and just catch us there. But we just thought if we keep persevering, we're going to get through at some point, which we did. So I'd say, well, when we pushed for the second, you can see Villa were retreating back into a back five as well. So we just had to keep the pressure on them, and they was having to defend more and more. And say that attacking move was like, because Garnacho then going through on the attack, passing it to Fernandes, and then he cut it across the box, and luckily the touch off the Villa player just landed nicely for Garnacho to hit it past. Because I didn't realise until afterwards that he took the deflection. I thought he hit it straight into the goal, but he took the deflection off he was on target, so it was his goal. So yeah, and I thought the third's inevitable now. It's just who's going to get it and when we're going to score it. I thought just getting towards the 80th minute, I thought it's just going to be in the 90th minute where we're, but literally 2 minutes later, and then I thought the corners come in and was like, I don't know where Johnny Evans actually flicked on the ball, because it then hit off John McGinn, and then Haaland adjusted perfectly. I think somebody said it was almost Robin Van Persie-esque what he did, the goal. So I was like, literally, it just erupted, and my headache from the first half had literally gone. I was like, I just let out it all, and I'm just like, yeah, just like, yes, he probably should have scored in Premier League sooner than he did. So, say 15 odd games to get a goal, but he hasn't been helped by his teammates, but also maybe himself at times. But he was just, I was just relieved. But say the game wasn't over yet, because we had about 9 minutes of injury time. We all looked at each other going, 9 minutes. But then we just, held it, and just saw it out, and just like the relief at the end as well. So hopefully it is the turning point of the season. We can take this into the new year and beyond.
Absolutely. I'm just going to cover you up again very quickly for this question again. Where do you sit at Old Trafford, Andrew? Dave wants to know. You've muted yourself, mate. Can't mute yourself and then talk. Nobody can hear you.
I said South stands for Bobby Charlton, so that stands left of the home dugout.
So very good. So this was the Garnacho goal. As you can see just here, Danny B, this was the one comes straight from the corner, bounces back into the path of Rasmus Højlund, who just smashes it into the far post. It was a beautiful goal. It really was wonderful. Talk to me about that, because we've all sat here talking about Rasmus. I'm a little bit worried, because people are now like, oh, that's it, we'll start banging him in regularly now. Whereas he's had all of this time that we've given him, sort of saying, he's not the main man just yet. It's almost like that one goal. People are now expecting him to now be the player that he hasn't been for the last few weeks. What did you make of it?
I think with Rasmus, it's important to remember that he was signed as our striker, but I think he was meant to be bought with another striker to support him and to learn from, and he's still young. Obviously, it's important to get that first league goal, and you could see that on his face. It was as much a joy and relief, and like that relief and that they exerted from the goal, and it was nice to see. But like for me as well, it was just that creativity as well. He's not been scoring, but he's been getting in positions and he's been getting in chances. And I always knew the goal would come for him, but I still think we can't be pinning all our hopes on. How old is he? 20? Is it 20? you can't pin all your hopes if you want to do anything of note on a 20-year-old kid up front that has limited service, especially our away form. Away from home, he's not going to get many goals with the kind of service we give him. So I think it's good to build on. Obviously the result was brilliant second half, and it is a good building block for us. But as far as saying maybe it's a turning point, I've said that numerous times over the last decade with Man United, where it's this game could be the turning point, this could be the launching pad, this could be this could be that, and I've kind of got wary of it now, so I try not to say it. But there was definitely a lot of positives to build on.
Certainly was. And Dan, final word really comes to you on this, but 8 academy products used in that game. Obviously, Kobe Mainoo starting. We had Marcus Rashford and Garnacho in there as well. And then, of course, the youngsters that we brought on, the fact that Dan Gore came on and played, the fact that Camboire played, the fact that McTominay played, the fact that Hannibal played. We've just sort of been calling this for a while. Give the youth a chance, actually, because they will seem to come on and care. They will have that good attitude that's required to go on there and do well. And it was our academy that pulled us back level. It was Garnacho that managed to do that. And then, of course, it was Rasmus that got us the win. But talk to me about how that academy has helped us there and how it's proven that, all right, it's only one game, one swallow doesn't make a summer. But it was a positive sign, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is what I've sort of been saying for the last few months, to be fair. It's not even so much about them putting so much pressure on them, etc. It's about trusting them to get it right and giving them a chance to get it right. I've seen a few, let's say, rumours that we're looking to maybe sell a couple of youth players. And I think we've made a couple of mistakes already over the last few seasons with Alanga and Garner being sold. I think they would be beneficial to have now. I was buzzing for Gore and Hannibal to come on to see out a game like that, because the pressure at 3-2 is still massive. But Dan Gore being trusted to do it will give his confidence a boost. And not only that, a fully fit Dan Gore is more useful to a side than Ericsson that's on his last legs for the last 10 minutes. So you've got to make the change. You've got to try and give them a chance to prove they can do it. I mean, Hannibal would look knackered after 5 minutes of running, because all he did when he came on was literally sprint everywhere. But we needed that closing down for the last 10 minutes. Why not trust him? We see other teams do it. I think Jurgen Klopp at the minute is trusting a couple of young players, and Elliott keeps making big differences for them. So I thought it was positive. It was a good sign for us that it's not all bad eggs as well at the club. If we want to trust the players to take us forward a bit, the youth players, they are there. If we're willing to, as fans, be a bit more patient. I've said it for a while. If you're going to give Dan Gore a chance and you finish 7th or 8th, so be it. If it means in a season or two he's prepared and he's ready, so be it. But you can't expect as a fan to give God. We can't be playing a 20-year-old, a 19-year-old, another 18-year-old, and then throw in Dan Gore, and do you know what I mean? And expect to finish 4th. It's not going to happen. Didn't hear that.
It worked in 92.
Yeah, well, he did, and it didn't. Like it depends who you remember, or don't remember at that age. It's one of them. I'm looking forward to him trying more and getting more game time. I hope the rumors aren't true. Apparently, Gore is a target for Dortmund in January. I hope we don't sell him. He looks absolutely fantastic. Same with Fernandez. Apparently, he's a target. We're going to get him back and try and sell him for 6 million, which seems, again, absolutely crazy if that's true. I feel like we're trying to scrape a bit of money together and we're going to pass upon some really good talent. My issue is, and this is going to make or break, I suppose, Ten Hag's future at Man United, is do you sort of say, again, we've got January coming up, does he go and knock on the door and say, look, I wanted these players gone, no owners or partial no owners, right, can we get this done? I'll trust a Dan Gore in midfield if we can sell McTominay for 40 million. I wouldn't sell McTominay. I'm just saying his preference is that he wants the same with Maguire. I wouldn't sell Maguire, but if we can get him shipped on for 50 million and play the young lad that's been playing, it's a positive for me. We get money through the door. He gets rid of a player he doesn't want, whether you rate him or not. And we're playing a youth player that looks like he's going to be quality. So I'm all for it. I really am.
The thing I liked about it, the thing I liked about it was that he entrusted the youth players to see out the game.
Yep,
and for me, that's such a powerful message. You know, he had players that have a lot more experience on the bench, like Rigwell and people like that. But he'd rather put the young boys on and show faith in them. And to me, that's what I want from my Manchester United manager, regardless of if you're in or out with him or whatever. He's doing. That was one thing he got right for me, that he's entrusting these young lads.
It depends whether it's 45 minutes, whether he's in or out, or 90. For
Well,
me,
yeah.
I'm still flattered very much. I was like, oh, what's happening here? We're not going to do a Forest preview as such. Obviously, the last time we played Forest, it was a bit of an Aston Villa type game, from what I remember. What we're going to do is simply throw in yes or no answer. Do you think we're going to build on that on Saturday? And what do you think the score is going to be, Andrew?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to build on it, and we're going to go 2-1 United.
Okay, Danny B?
1-0 United. I think Forest will be hard to break down. They've got the new manager, and they're on it. They've obviously got a good result at the weekend, but I think we should be building on what we got the other night.
Very good. And Dan?
I want to say yeah, but I've been burned too many times. So I'm gonna firmly sit on the fence. I think we'll get a draw. I think it's gonna be 1-1. I'm just worried about Forest on the counter. If we don't play the double pivot, there's a chance we can be overrun. Alanga as well, by the way. Shout out to him. He looks absolutely amazing this season. I think it's like 11 goals and assists.
I watched that, Dan. I actually thought he's good at doing the running, but his finishing.
Oh, he could have set up 3 more goals. Yeah. But we're talking about, I mean, for the last 5 weeks, Garnacho, Rashford, and Højlund have all done what he did against Newcastle, but never got an assist, if that makes sense. He definitely could have added something for us this year. I don't know.
You know Alanga's having the game of his life on Saturday, don't you?
Well, now I've said that, he probably will. Yes, I apologise.
I hope he's gets an illness or something just for a game.
Well, there we go. I do think we're going to build on it, and I actually think we're going to win it 2-0.
So what do we have there? We're 2-0, 2-1,
1-0.
1-0.
So we shall see. We shall see.
Wrong.
But it's time. It's time for me to do this and relinquish the power.
Messes with my head that when you do.
The power is now in your hands, there, Mr. Dan. And it's your part of the show, so it's time for me to shut up.
Right. So I basically put a quiz together for everybody. So I had a way I was going to do it, but I've changed my mind. We started, so I've changed my mind. I'm getting distracted now because Spurs were 4-0 down, and it's now 4-2. So that's just changed. Yeah. So I was going to say put your answers in the private chat, but I think what we'll do is just the first person to say the answer gets a point. I think that's probably quicker, and there'll be less cheating that way, because I feel like Google's going to be on phones. So basically, I'm trying to count the players now. I've got 5 questions for 5 players. So 5 different players, 5 questions. And then I've got a second part, which is domestic cup knowledge and European cup knowledge. So I've tried not to make them too difficult, but I've also tried not to make it's not too easy, if that makes sense. I was going to give you multiple, so like multiple choice.
Then you thought that's part.
But I thought no, that'd be too easy, so I've not done that. So the players we'll go through one at a time. We're going to start with Solskjaer. Thought it'd be fitting. Obviously, David Beckham's in there. Why wouldn't he be? Then we've got Peter Schmeichel. I'm not seeing anybody panic yet. And I've gone for Steve Bruce because I wanted to throw off some of the people in the comment section. And then, obviously, Sir Bobby Charlton. And then, obviously, the trophies after that. So we'll start with Solskjaer. These 5 different questions. We'll go through one at a time. I don't know how I'm going to keep score. I should have kept a pen. Basically, whoever says the answer gets a point. and then we'll see who's the winner at the end. There's no
Well, you
prize.
confirm who gets the point. I'll write the scores down for you.
That works for me. Tell you what, Spurs might actually get back into this as well. That I'm sort of.
I was
I
checking
still
it.
probably go 4-0 down. That's blown my mind.
Yeah, 4-2. They've scored 2 in 2 minutes. Right, so we start with Solskjaer. From which club did Solskjaer sign in 2006?
Mould, wasn't it?
1 point to Barry. Look at this. He's flying.
Wow,
That's it.
quick.
I feel like I should have made these harder. Okay, right. This is a better question. Solskjaer scored 6 minutes into his debut against which team?
Blackburn Rovers.
Oh, I've definitely not made this hard enough, have I?
I just remember his debut.
The knowledge on show here.
No
Yeah,
chance of
I
guessing
just
that.
remember because he's playing alongside Eric, so that's why.
Tell you what, he's even remembering who he's playing against. There we go. Right, okay. Right, so what's that? A point each?
Point each, yes. One for me, one for Andrew.
Dan's already running away. So, often a super sub, but how many of his 126 goals came as a substitute?
Oh, now this is a tricky one because none of us are going to get that spot on. So I think we should all go round and put a number, and then whoever's the closest gets it.
I've got faith. I think Andy's going to get it.
70.
75.
Calm down a bit. He scored 126.
He spent a lot of time on the bench, though.
He did. Wasn't called the super sub for a laugh.
So how many from the bench?
Yeah, how many were scored as a substitute of the 126?
$64.
Tell you what, you've all well overestimated. What did you say, Dan?
75.
What did you say, Barry?
70.
Well, by default, Andy is the closest, but Dave was 4 away. 28 goals as a sub.
Wow.
I feel like he
Well,
came off the
thank
bench more.
And you know, that's quite scary actually when you consider that. And this might ruin one of your questions. When you consider 4 of those are against Nottingham Forest, that's mad. That's honestly because he was just known as a super sub. So that's absolutely crazy. That was only 28.
Barry's just ruined a question.
I knew it was going to happen.
Oh,
I'll go to that question next. He hasn't ruined it. So he scored 4 goals against Nottingham Forest as a sub. But what minute was his first goal?
83.
We're going to go closest wins.
his first goal.
72.
67.
Oh, I can go work out the maths. So what did you say, Barry?
83.
83.
Sort of came on for
Barry
that.
is closest.
He
80th
solely
minute.
came on for the last 10 minutes.
80th minute. He
Said,
scored
don't
his
worry
first
about
goal.
it too much. And he just went on and scored 4 goals because that's all he does.
Right, so the last one on Solskjaer. What's the scores, Barry, though? Just let's get an update. What's the
What
scores?
minute was it?
It was the 80th, so that's a point to
It
you.
was the 80th. Okay, so it's 2 to me, 2 to Andrew, and Dan's looking
0.
beautiful in the corner.
Sorry, Dan.
Solskjaer's not my forte.
Let's hope he gets Steve Bruce. So his
He is one
most
of the best.
famous goal was scored in the Champions League final, obviously. But in what minute or what time did the goal go in? That is minute and second, we're guessing.
92:07.
92-22.
Looking between.
And Andrew score. He always scores.
Scores.
The big goal is coming up. He's got one a year already.
94.02.
I thought there was only 3 minutes of injury time.
Yeah,
Who said 92-22?
I said 92:07.
I said 92-22.
So Dan would be closest. It was 92-17.
Oh, missed the one out.
He's
Please
got a
Dan
point.
let's be
He's
fair.
got a point.
Thank God for that.
I'm annoyed at that.
Do you know what? When I was like so when I was researching some of these questions, some of the answers were quite surprising because I can remember Sheringham scoring and equalising, and I was about 10, 11, and I went for a run to celebrate. I'd gone. I was on back garden and everything. And I came back, and literally as I sat back down, they scored again, so I was gone again. And I didn't feel like I'd been running around for like a minute, so it's quite a good run. Right, so we're on to David Beckham. I'd love to be on the other end of these questions, by the way. Really would. So, David Beckham shot to fame by scoring from the halfway line against which team?
Wimbledon.
Oh, my Lord. You're all having a point. Can't separate that one. You're all having a point.
Well, you know we're going to VAR that later, don't you?
Bonus point if you can tell me who the keeper was.
Neil Sullivan.
Neil Sullivan.
I feel like Andy said it first, I think.
Was it Andy? Did you say Sullivan? How did you say Neil?
He did.
Sullivan.
Going to give him the bonus point then. Fair enough. Unlucky, Dan. I tried.
Right,
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Here we go. He scored his first goal against which team for Manchester United?
Aston Villa?
No.
Oh.
Blackburn Rovers? No, that wasn't. That was
Ollie, mate.
No, that was he did score at Blackburn after that. So.
Is this in the league or just in general?
In general.
Oh,
it was his first United goal. Wow, what an answer, Dan. Galatasaray.
I thought you meant in the league.
No, just his first goal for the club at Galatasaray.
Fair play, Dan. Fair play indeed.
I didn't think anybody would get that.
Beckham's my hero.
Amen. I want Dan to win now. No bias. Right. So he made 115 appearances for England. How many of those were as captain?
25.
Sacrilege.
44.
More sacrilege.
52.
59 as England captain.
Wow.
So Andy
How
gets
many
the
did you
point.
say, Andy?
52.
Another point for Andrew.
Oh, I think Spurs could have a penalty. Got distracted. So Beckham scored 61 goals in the Premier League for Manchester United. How many were direct free kicks?
Oh, because Ward-Prowse is nearly close to him as well, isn't it?
I think Ward-Prowse has just beat him. I might be wrong.
Oh, it's
36.
No, it's impressive.
15.
20. So no, Ward-Prowse is close.
18.
Only 18? Oh, he was rubbish.
18. Oh, you. What did you say, Barry? 36. That's over half his goals.
That's what I thought. Ward-Prowse is so close to him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ward-Prowse overtook him last year or not. I know he was one away, wasn't he?
I think he's still one away.
I hope so.
I think he is.
He did well. He went 24 after going 42.
I don't know whether the 42 was for a different question. That was for
think
caps, I think.
That's why I went to 24.
I think to be fair, the 42 was for caps. Right, the last question on that one is, what team did David Beckham play for when he made his last appearance?
PSG.
Point down.
No, not
PSG?
Where is it?
AC Milan.
That was before PSG.
Yeah, but he finished at PSG.
Yeah, because he was crying as he walked off the pitch.
Is it Lille?
Lille?
Lille.
It's PSG.
I've already said it, buddy.
I was playing for. Sorry, I thought you meant who was he playing against whilst he was at
no. Where was
that
his
bonus point? Is that a bonus point?
I don't know whether that's the right answer.
No, Andrew, you don't need any more points.
I've completely messed up that question. Okay, so that's a point for Dan, which puts Dan on 4 at the moment, Andrew on 5, and me on 3.
This is close. I like it. Right, so we're on to the big Dane, Peter Schmeichel. So, What year did he join Manchester United?
1991.
Point. That was rapid.
I knew that as well, but I just couldn't get it in.
I just knew.
Yeah, next year's edition is going to be a lot harder. Right, okay. I feel like I'm going to have to read it quick because Andy's going to be rapid again. What club did he sign from?
Bromby.
Oh, that was Dan. Didn't even finish the question.
Got to get in before Andrew.
I wish John was here for this one.
Playing
John
off
would have
David
loved this
Beckham,
one.
and that's it. All it takes.
Right, so he made 310 appearances in the Premier League for Manchester United. How many clean sheets did he keep?
114.
Just going to hide my face so I don't give anything away.
125.
He's gone higher. I'm not pleased about
How many appearances did you say he made again? I'm just trying to work this one out.
310. This is where Andy knows it's like 46% clean sheet ratio. And he's doing the
problem
maths.
is, Harry Maguire only just beat it.
No, because I'm thinking in that area, because I know David James, he had the most clean sheet at one point. Then it was, and Peter, was it Peter?
The Hayes just beaten what Schmeichel had.
160.
Who said 125?
Me.
Dan again.
Dan is on fire. 128.
Not bad for a guess.
So this is going to be a tough one
Peter
because
Schmeichel's a hero.
I didn't think this one was as many. So how many times did he captain Manchester United?
Ooh. See, I wouldn't have thought it was that many either. But what you just said, it sounds like it's going to be more than I think.
Or he's saying that to put us off the scent. One.
It just depends what you think, doesn't it? Do you think it was a lot?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the number that I first thought of, add 4, double it, take away 7, and then add the number I first thought of, and I'm going to come up with 12.
Does that mean you started with 5?
I don't know. I don't know how many times Peter Schmeichel was a captain. It wasn't that many, but
I felt like in 98, 99, I think he did captain the side a bit more.
I'm just going to say 1. I can only remember the Champions League final.
I'll go overestimate this. 14. I'm thinking I'm overestimating here.
No, 40.
so Andrew's going to win by default. Just 'cause
He wins
slightly
by
went
default,
higher than
yeah.
you.
But 40, I did not expect it to be that high.
You're not going to
Oh,
buy it on
neither.
again, Andrew.
So yeah, 40. So we got one more. How many caps did he have for Denmark?
Wasn't he? He was the leading. Whoever took him, I don't think he's the lead. Most appearances for Denmark now.
I'll tell you what, Andrew's ball knowledge is up there, isn't it?
103.
103. Barry's gone early.
100. I think he's made more.
I'm going to go more. I'm going to go 150.
150 there.
118.
See, Andrew,
And he gets another point.
right in the bloody middle every time.
He's
I don't know
waiting
why
for you
I
to
don't
go
know
and he's
why.
picking you off.
Right, we know what to do now,
What
Barry.
was it? Is it 118?
It's 129. And he was the record holder. So that was actually in the question, but I don't know whether that's true anymore. So I took it out because I don't know whether he is still the record holder.
That's what I think.
Dave Googled it.
129. Dave got it spot on.
Amazing what Google can do.
It is, yeah. So, oh my lord, I've just seen the Arsenal game and then losing 2-0.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
2-0 now.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
unfortunate.
So we're on to Stevie Bruce.
Good old Stevie
Good old
Bruce.
Stevie Bruce. So for which Kent club did Bruce start his professional career?
Fulham.
Maidstone.
Gillingham?
Oh my lord, Andy. Oh my lord. What an answer. Gillingham. Point handy.
Because you said Kent, and I was like, because I know we signed him from Norwich, but I thought.
I had to narrow it down a little bit because if I said any club, we'd be like Rangers. Celtic.
Can we just take a moment here to appreciate the answer of Hull?
That's where he managed.
I know why you said it. It's just not a Kent club.
In which year did he sign for the club?
1988.
89.
86.
I will give the point to Dan because he's under and not over. It was 1987.
This is unbelievable. This is atrocious. I demand VAR on this one.
No, in fact,
he's under and not
point
over.
each. You're both
It's
you're
not
both
the
a year
Price is
away.
Bloody right.
We should have done that. We should have done the Price is Right. You can have a point each. I'll give you a point
That's
each.
more like it. God almighty, sitting here on 3 and he's mugging me right up.
Right, so how many trophies did Bruce win at United? Some counting going on here.
Moses Andrew, we're not going anywhere yet.
I feel like we should put a timer on Google. Google's close.
12.
He didn't win 12. I know he didn't win 12.
Need an answer.
I
7.
think it's more or less, Andrew. You think only 7?
Yeah.
No, I
Barry,
think
go in the
only
middle
7.
somewhere and you'll probably win.
I'm going to go
Oh,
14.
I said in the middle.
no. Yeah.
I'll change
So-
mine to 9.
The correct answer is 9. So I
Ah.
think Dan was closest. So 9, which is pretty good.
No, Andrew would be closer. He said 7, didn't he?
Oh, what did you say, Dan? 12?
He
Yeah.
said 12.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So Andrew again. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I was
What's
just
he on
trying
about?
to work.
56 now?
Told you. Honestly, Andrew, the minute he said he had Beckham, that was it. Dan decided that Dan was winning.
I didn't, honest. Right. So this one might be a quick one. So you might have to be on your toes for this. How many caps for England did he win?
Oh, none.
Oh, Barry there straight away. None. How didn't he win a cap for England? I was
Outrageous.
like
It's the most
4
disgusting
at this
decision
age.
ever made.
Absolutely ridiculous. It's like playing scarves on the left. So, last one on Steve Bruce. Which club did he join after leaving Man United in 1996?
Birmingham City.
Birmingham City.
Was.
Tell you what, I'm impressed, Andy. I really am.
I'm impressed.
Right, so now to the one and the only, Sir Bobby Charlton. So these should, I think they're all gettable. One of them is mad, by the way. One of these, and I hope it's true. I don't know if I plucked it out of thin air, but I'm pretty sure my source is correct. So we'll start with, what year did he win the Ballon d'Or?
68.
66.
I think that I'm going to go 69.
66. Andy gets it right again.
Then
I'm not
wasn't
sure why we invited Andrew on for the quiz, really. The more I think about it, the more I
Yeah,
realise.
you should have gone for tone. Right, so he played for the club for 17 years. How many appearances did he make?
758.
750. No.
Barry's
Yeah,
spot on.
Barry's
There's-
right,
There's
yeah.
no more answers needed. Barry is spot
Yeah.
on. 758 over 17 years. Now, this is the one that really, really impressed me and surprised me. How many appearances did he make in the FA Cup?
Did it surprise you because it was a lot? Or did it surprise you because it wasn't many?
Well, he didn't do a Jack Wilshere and playing it 5 times and win 2 of them, put it that way.
25.
20.
It's going to be more than it's got to be.
And he's playing it safe.
Andy's waiting for me and Barry to answer again.
72. I'm just overestimating it.
78. That is mental.
That's 10% almost.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? So he was basically available in the FA Cup every year and played most of the rounds every year.
See,
They wouldn't have had the
that's why
squad
you
size to
shouldn't say
rotate.
things like that really surprised me, because you made me think it was really low.
No, I was surprised it was quite high. Most players these days don't want to play in the FA Cup. They're lazy, aren't they? They want the week off.
Well, Dave went 82, so he was probably a little bit closer there. So well done, Dave.
What did they go for? 82? Bloody hell.
82.
Right, so I've got to try and word this correctly. How long did his England scoring record last before being broken by Wayne Rooney? How many years did it stand for?
42.
Ooh, I was going to say 44.
So I go in the middle.
43.
Guys, it's definitely in the 40s. I'm going to go 43 because I just think it is in the 40s.
Do you know what? We've had everyone really close, even Dave. It was 45 years. So who said 44?
Me.
Dan gets the point. So this is the last one on Sir Bobby Charlton. In what year did he make his debut for Manchester United?
1956.
Barry again.
Ooh.
1956.
I remember it well.
Go on then, give us a score update, Barry, because I'm lost.
Okay, so I'm currently sat on 7. Danny B is sat on 8. And Andrew, the big fat cheap wool, is on 13.
So we have 10 questions left. We've got cup knowledge and we've got European cup knowledge. So we start with cup knowledge, and then we'll hope someone can catch Andy. So very simply, what was the first trophy the club won in 1886?
FA Cup?
No, we didn't win that till about 1910 or 11.
Was it something silly like the Lancashire Cup?
Was it Football Alliance? No.
That was one of the trophies that were on the 4 answers, the Lancashire Cup. It wasn't that.
Definitely wasn't the League Cup.
Oh, you're going to kick yourselves. You're going to kick yourselves when I say it.
Is it like the Division 1?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Can't be the Charity Shield. It's nothing in Europe. So what the blinking out exists? It's a very long time ago. I feel like this is something I should know.
Yeah, I should know it.
We give it up.
I am going to kick myself, I know.
It is the Manchester Cup.
Oh.
Is it something like the Lancashire Cup? Yes, Barry, it is.
Yeah, it was pretty, because it's the same thing in essence, isn't it? It's just, it was called the Manchester Cup. Right, so, and Andy's going to...
But yeah, here we are, NT. Here we are.
Here we are. When did United win their first FA Cup?
1908.
Just need to cover my face so I don't give anything away again.
1910.
See, I sort of said 10 or 1911.
Point to Barry and Dan. 1909.
Oh, Jesus.
You should have gone in the middle. Well, where did we get to? All right, okay. When did the club win its first league championship?
1921.
24.
What, 20?
1924, yeah.
I feel like this is before all them dates.
You think it's before, do you?
Yeah. I'm
Shoot
trying
for
to
the
read that.
stars.
I'm trying to read your reaction, thinking, am I close?
Could it be right in the middle, Andrew? Could it be right in the middle?
League title. 1907.
He's gone 07. He's gone early.
1908.
Oh, I've got me blinking FA Cup and my league mixed up.
That's why I was like, league came before the cup. So it's like,
I don't know whether this one will be answered quickly or not. I feel like it might be. As of 2023, and I've had to put as of 2023 because you never know what's going to happen. How many trophies have the club won in total?
62.
67.
68.
Oh, 69.
Ah,
Dan steals a point.
he does.
I waited for Andrew to answer, you see.
Just go a year above.
I won't answer now.
As of 2023, how many FA Cups have the club won?
13.
12.
12?
Oh, I was unlucky.
Barry went
I've worked
early.
this game out now.
Just go a year under because everyone's quite close. So now we're on to European.
Okay,
There's
well,
only
the
5
fun fact
questions
here is
left.
that Dan's now on 11. Andrew's on 14. I'm on 8. So very much between Dan and Andrew, I feel, at this point.
It is. You can get to 1 behind. Oh, that bonus point killed you. What year did the club win its first European Cup?
1968.
68.
Yeah, it's
I'm going to give that Barry. I think he was there first.
Yeah, I think he was.
Which
And the only reason I
team?
said that slowly because I'm like, is he mugging me off? Is he? That's like not being easy.
Which team did they beat in the final?
Benfica.
Oh, Dan got that one. I'm gonna have to be quick again. Which player scored 2 goals?
Bobby Charlton.
Charlton.
Oh, Dan again.
I don't care. I want Dan to win now.
Oh, Andy, this would be a criminal failure if you don't win from here. Who was the only player to miss a spot kick in the 2008 Champions League final?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Oh, you.
It's Dan again.
He's Dan again.
Tell me the scores are tied, Barry.
Well, I can tell you that Dan is now on 14. Andrew is still on 14. He hasn't got any points. And I'm on 9 and hoping to get to double figures.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I ain't got any tiebreakers, so if Barry wins this, it's going to be a nightmare. Okay. Who is Manchester United's highest ever goal scorer in European competition?
Ruud van Nistelrooy?
Andy for the win.
Ah, well done.
Andy for the win.
Rudy.
Bonus point if you can tell me how many.
42. Could be wrong.
Who did you say?
Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Ah.
42. I'm going to go 42.
I'd
What
go
do you think?
41 if it was that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was going to say 43.
Point for Barry. 38.
I think it's the
Lovely.
same
That
as-
takes me to 10. But yes, Andrew is the winner.
Andrew wins the big quiz of the year.
Well played, Andrew. Good job, Sunshine.
I mean, to be fair, you answered them really quickly, some of them. I thought they'd be a little bit more of a brain teaser.
Well, you know,
I'm going to have to get my book back out and try and get some more difficult questions.
To be fair, the ones that were hard were the ones where you were talking about years and, you know, the amount of caps and all that sort of thing, or the number of direct free kicks that have been scored by David Beckham, because they're not ones that you can really guess. But I think, yeah, the ones that are knowledge about United, we always had a good chance of
So
guessing.
someone got me a book. It was a book on Man United knowledge, and I put it to great use.
Well, you did. Very good indeed. Let's hope the book was correct.
Look, massive. You can't see it because it disappears, but it's massive. There's loads. There's loads in there.
This could be a weekly show.
This we're going to do a yearly. Next year, I'm going to come up with some right difficult ones.
Yeah, and you'll have to double check them because they would have changed potentially over.
Well, that's why, like some with the Danish one, the caps, and then obviously as of 2023, how many trophies? I was really careful about what I was picking because I just did not know.
But yeah, very good. Well, there you go. Good job, Dan. Thank you very much for the quiz. Well done, those of you that were taking part at home as well. And of course, the great news about this is that, of course, if you are watching this afterwards, you can still take part. There's wonderful things. We didn't spoil any answers for you, so see if you can beat us as we go. So well done, Dan. Thank you very much. Dan, it's up to you. It's your part of the show, mate. You're going to have to see us out. But I will just remind everyone that we are here on Saturday. It's our final show of the year. So we will be looking at the game against Nottingham Forest. We will be looking a little bit deeper into this takeover situation that is happening. And I, for one, can't wait. And I'm sure that we will try and come up with some end-of-season awards. I keep calling it end-of-season, end-of-year awards for 2023.
They're going to be difficult to give out, though, Barry.
Not that difficult. Depends on what the awards are, really, don't they?
Yeah.
And this is the thing. People talk about 2023 as if it's like...
It wasn't bad, was it? We won a cup.
Well, we won the Carabao.
Yeah. We finished in the Champions League.
You know, in the Champions League. So there was... lots of things there to enjoy and discuss. And I'm sure that on Saturday we will do that. Anything you want to add, Dan?
Arsenal is still losing 2-0, which is absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
Brilliant. Great news.
And Spurs lost 4-2. So that's also fantastic.
That's made me giggle heartily.
Cost me my FPL, but it's fantastic.
Well, see, now that's something we've got to look at as well on Saturday is... we'll have a little look at our predicted league tables and sort of see whereabouts we sit as 2023 comes to an end.
Absolutely miles away, I reckon.
More points than me. We shall see. But yeah, Arsenal losing, great news. And it's one of those wonderful things, actually. If we beat Forest, we come back, we play Spurs after the FA Cup match. And we could, depending on how results go, be just on the outskirts of the top four if we manage to get a couple of good results. And all of a sudden, the season that was looking so diabolical just a matter of days ago won't be looking quite so bad anymore. Andrew, Dan, thanks again for joining us. Much appreciated as ever. Well done for taking part. You're good sports. And you're not really a big fat cheater, Andrew. You're a lovely man and we love you. I just get a little bit competitive now and again. But yeah, brilliant. Well done, Dan. Good quiz. Well run. And we will see you all on Saturday. Take care.